So Google just gave Gemini a glow up and man, it looks gorgeous, but they actually updated a whole lot more under the hood that makes it work so much better. All right, so this is the new Gemini, and guys, look how gorgeous that looks. That background animation, I absolutely love. Let's take another look at that when you first launch it. I mean, it just looks so cool. And immediately you can tell that this looks so much different than the way that Gemini used to look. Down here at the bottom, this bar, this chat bar, looks a lot sleeker and cleaner, and there's a lot less clutter here in the user interface. So the old version had a whole bunch of menu items down here. Now we just have this one. It's this plus icon, and this includes everything. So clicking on this, you can upload photos, use a camera, use files, Drive, notebooks, and you can select if you want to generate images, videos, music, use Canvas. So all the regular features we're used to, but they're now just in this one menu. And look how nice it looks. They gave all of them new icons. They look a lot more congruent and minimal and sleek. So I absolutely love how condensed this is. The side menu also looks a lot different. So if we open this up, you can see this is a lot more condensed, just like the menu inside the chat, where everything just kind of looks a lot nicer. Everything's like black and white. I added these emojis myself, but those normally wouldn't be there. And now you'll also notice that gems are collapsed. So in the past, this was expanded just like notebooks are, but they've now condensed them. You can still get to all your gems by clicking that and opening them up, but they're now permanently collapsed here. I think that Gemini or Google, they're moving more towards trying to get users to use notebooks more, which makes a lot more sense. It's a lot more powerful of a feature. And a lot of the stuff you can do in gems, you can pretty much do in notebooks anyway. So I don't know if they're planning on getting rid of that entirely, but it's definitely not as important right now as notebooks. So I actually appreciate that update. And of course, you can see your recents down here and your pinned ones. Another really cool new kind of UI thing is when you start typing in here, you'll notice that this chat bar kind of moves depending on how you're typing. So let's say I want to ask it a question like, what is the history of pinball machines in the United States? So you see how it kind of expanded up when I did that. And what's also really cool is when you send a question along, you'll notice this really nice animation up here at the top with these colors that glow and move around. So that was dark mode. Let me show you light mode real quick. It also looks really nice. We have the glow down here. We have the glow up here when you send a message. It just doesn't look as nice to me as dark mode. Dark mode is just absolutely stunning. You'll also notice that when you want to choose the model, that's up here instead of being down here. So I think it's a lot nicer being up here. And you can also choose the thinking level for the first time. This wasn't available before, but you can now choose the exact thinking level for your prompt. So overall, I love this update. I think it looks a lot nicer than the old version of Gemini, a lot more Google-like. This new update is also available on the web version of Gemini. You can see that right here with the new UI, the new icons here, how everything looks a lot sleeker. They did keep the model picker in here for the web version. I'm okay with that. I think it looks better having it at the top on the phone, and it wouldn't really make sense here on web, so I'm glad they left it here. And you can see a new temporary chat icon up here on the top right that looks a little bit different. This is what the sidebar looks like. So it looks very similar to what we saw on mobile with the collapsed gems menu and the notebooks here and the new styling. But like I said before, there have been more updates besides just the way that Gemini looks. There's a lot of changes that have happened under the hood. And you'll begin to see these when you start to chat with Gemini and send it some prompts. The responses are going to be a lot more visual. Here's an example of what I mean. So we have our answer, but look, they're including images here. They even include this timeline for us, neatly laid out for us. And you'll see a lot more images now in chat. That's what I've been noticing. So let me show you another example of something I tried the other day. Here it is. You can see I asked for some recommendations for dog-friendly things to do in San Diego over Memorial Day weekend. It not only pulled up this map over here, but we see on the left all the explanations of different things to do with images. You can see the ratings for the places they recommend, like this dog beach. and yeah, some more information about them. And you can actually click on any of these and it will bring it up over here, and then you can open up in Google Maps directly. The other really cool example is this one. I asked it for some facts about octopi. Apparently I've also been saying that wrong, but I don't think I'm allowed to say this word on YouTube. And then here you can see that it not only gives you a text response, but also images in the responses, and really nice looking. Like this feels like a, I don't know, like a magazine style almost, with like these nice images with rounded edges. You can see the source for where the image came from. Then it gives you some more information. They created a table. And then this is really cool. I'm pretty sure this was generated by Gemini. Yeah, it definitely was, because you can see when you move over it, it's actually interactive, where I move over the name and it actually highlights it. We can click on Explore here, and it pretty much does the same thing. Oh, wow, look at that. Click into it further and you see even more. That's really cool. So the fact that they're just making this more visual and they include things like this, like I don't even know what you would call this, not quite a diagram, it's much more than that. It's really neat. And overall, I think this new visual style of Gemini is a lot nicer. And what's also nice about it is that it's adaptive. It's not always going to give you images and diagrams like this. It understands when those are needed and when those aren't, and will only surface them when they're actually going to be helpful. Gemini Live also got a huge update. It looks so much better and it allows you to continue a conversation between the live chat and text chat. Let me show you an example. So this, of course, is the live button. Clicking on this, we can start it. Hey, can you tell me the history of pinball machines in the United States and how they got so popular? Pinball really took off in the US. So now it's answering my question. But if I close this out, I can now continue the conversation in the chat. So I could ask it a follow-up question here, like how much did it used to cost? You know, not really giving it the context, but I'm hoping you'll understand that I mean that how much would it cost to play a pinball machine? Yeah, and then here it gives that answer. Yeah, to play it used to just cost 1 cent, and that's part of the reason it was so popular. And then I could pick it up again with live chat. So I can say, were they always themed like they are now? Not originally, no. The earliest machines were more abstract. Yeah, so that's the new live. And if you remember the way it used to work, it used to open up sort of a separate looking UI that wasn't part of this chat, and it wasn't sort of built in the way that it is right now. This one works and looks so much better. So that is a new Gemini, absolutely gorgeous in my opinion, but what do you think? Let me know in the comment section down below. Then while you're down there, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any future updates to Gemini. I'm usually pretty fast about making videos showing you how to use the latest updates. So if you want to stay on top of what actually matters, make sure to subscribe. Then I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.